Okay, here we are. No lefty audio, no lefty camera so far, at least. We're getting things started. Hello, everyone. How are you? I'm doing okay. I had a very long weekend. I've been a working and a working hard, and it is quite draining. But yeah, we're here to chill for probably a couple hours. We're gonna do a little bit of React content. We've got the Hasan versus Cenk thing, which I watched like Vash's reaction to it. It smells like Upfesh. True. Hello, Gayfesh. What's up, Baphomet, as well? My great uncles were jewelers and watchmakers. Yeah, that's really cool. Inheriting a lot of old antique tools and then like getting into watchmaking. That sounds like a very fun hobby. What's up, Donuumayo? Whoa! Everybody is kung fu fighting. So yeah, we're here to vibe. I have a fresh cup of coffee because I decided that an afternoon decaf was in the cards today. I did not drink coffee this morning. I completely forgot to drink coffee this morning. So, did go to the pumpkin patch this week, and we're gonna do pumpkin carving probably later this week, maybe even tomorrow. What? So I'm looking forward to that. We got pumpkins last year, but we didn't carve them. We haven't carved pumpkins since like 2019, I want to say. What's up, Eric? Can't stay long. I have an event here to enjoy the stream with y'all for a bit. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, guys. Okay, we're starting the stream. We're hitting the likes. We're seeing how many people we can get in here. We'll probably chill for a little while, and then we'll start doing the reaction stuff. Someone also posted a Vice News video in the stream recommendations channel, and I thought maybe we could watch that. It sort of depends, but world news is making me really sad right now. Yeah, like, so I am not like a political expert on the whole Israel-Palestine thing, like TBH. But it seems like if you look into it for more than 2 seconds, that Israel is very obviously the aggressor. And so that's what happened this week, right? There was an aggression thing from Israel against Palestine or something along those lines. I don't know, man. I deliberately have been a little bit like off of the news. Just got a tattoo done. Oh, that's very exciting. Yes, there are squeaky chairs in my house. My chair is pretty creaky as well. There's numerous squeaky chairs. Yeah, Hamas is also really bad. Yeah, of course, yeah. It's not like there's no fault here, but it is like very clearly there are more deaths on one side than the other. The way that United States politicians respond to issues in Israel and Palestine is of concern as well, because, you know, sometimes politicians, like Republicans in particular, are like, yo, who gives a shit that a bunch of children live there? We need to, like, kill everybody, basically. And it's, like, genocidal. You know, Hamas attacked Israel, and Netanyahu is jumping at the opportunity to use this as ammunition to then level Gaza in response. Good stuff. So, yeah, I don't really, it's not, like, my area of expertise. I have other shit that I'm an expert in, and global politics, including Israel-Palestine, is not one of them, and I will acknowledge that. Yep. And, like, yeah, the use of rape as a tool of war is not cool, and I understand that that's, like, pretty prevalent, and it is done on both sides. So, yeah, I'm basically just like, man, rape is bad, okay? Exactly. What's up, Christy? Hello, Gorge. Oh, God. So, I'm just here. Listen, I'm just here to drink my coffee and have a fucking headache. All right? That's basically what I'm here to do today. What colors are we working with? We're working with orange. We got some orange. Yeah. Well, how is... That's... I mean, it's fine. What... Yeah. This is how we had it before. This is pretty good. And then there was also the pink and green. People seem to enjoy that. What if I put pink down here and green up here? It's fine. Neat. Anyway, colors. Did you get my DM? I haven't been I haven't really been on Twitter a lot, TBH. Like Twitter truly has what's it called? Jumped the shark? Is that the term that we use for this? I'm off of it. But if you guys are interested as we enter Christmas time in like the wish list thing, there's those. Appreciate y'all for asking. Netanyahu literally has been caught saying to fund Hamas because it makes it easier for them to enact their colonialism and genocide against Palestinians. Nice. Hasan is a CCP stan. He has zero interest in recognizing China for the atrocities they commit. There's no way to look at what he said there and say this is a guy who isn't completely bought. I just think Hasan is an idiot. I mean, he's well-spoken, relatively, and he's hot, I guess, but, like, he's just kind of an idiot. So, I haven't really been on Twitter for almost a month and do not regret it. Yeah, I have other stuff going on, and so I'm not reading the news a lot right now because I'm already pretty stressed and, like, upset. So I don't really need to, like, go seeking things to make me upset. And so, yeah, that's why some of the streams lately have been chill streams, because your boy is tired of all of the negative news all the time. I tried applying for health insurance next year, and it went back to the login screen. Oh, man. It sucks when the websites don't be working. Yeah, Cenk is also an idiot, to be clear. If we're going to watch... When we watch Hasan versus Cenk, it's going to be... Hasan is going to seem way smarter. Hasan is just a clout goblin to his detriment. I don't know. I think his heart's in the right place a lot of the time. I never know what to make of Hasan. IDK of his Israel take was just a dumb moment or representative of his idiocy. I don't know what he said about it. And I also don't even know very much about it in order to, like, say specifically what is wrong with his take, you know? Have you heard of Throne? It's a way for creators to have an Amazon wishlist without needing to dox themselves. I feel like I was looking at someone's Throne account. Are there issues with doxing with Amazon wishlists? Twitter is so hostile. I only use it for people I know. Yeah, I go and I scroll it sometimes, but it's not like a thing that I do regularly with my time. Amazon wishlist might display address. Okay. I feel like I've looked through the privacy settings numerous times, but, you know, always an option for things to slip through the cracks. Maybe this is too tinfoil hat of me, but I believe that the Young Turks' relative right-wing shift recently is because of money that they have received. And Donowu responds, it is absolutely a money grab, just a matter of figuring out who. Yeah, like, are they just seeing that Why I Left the Left videos are super popular? Like, is that the thing? And so they're on this trajectory? Oh no, I have returned to the Mayo side. No. Yep. I appreciate those of you who have set up your recurrent donation subscription thing, because it like, oh, I'm like, oh, randomly I got money. That's great. $5, amazing. I am not even streaming right now. Like, so I appreciate those of you who have that that automatic thing set up. Cenk definitely has trouble defending anything he says when in front of Hasan. I mean, I don't think that Cenk is good at expressing his ideas, and or his ideas are bad. Like, I would say both of those things. Israel has been leveling apartment buildings full of civilians to get at Hamas, and people are like, well, that's where Hamas is, and I hope to God nobody there is a hostage negotiator. Sniper, shoot the hostage. Oh my God. Everybody in YouTube chat is having a Twitter, never heard of her. Twitter, I hardly know her. I appreciate you, frenzied that you're on. So, but I do want to get into that in a little bit. Actually watching the video, I suppose. And then we could watch that Vice video. I just wanted to do something a little bit low-key. So hit the like button since it's the beginning of the stream. And we'll see how many people we can get. The steroid Vice video? No, Where is it? So in the stream recommendations channel in the Discord server. Somebody posted something from Vice News. Violet posted, trans communities are fighting back against violence. And I think that at some, it's like a little 22-minute expose or whatever. This mentions the alpaca farm that I believe I have for a long time followed one of the women who lives there. And I was curious to see what that was about. Like, these folks are arming themselves and they're providing like a safe house. I've also heard people say that like the attempt at creating like a transitionary house thing. Oh my god, the camera. The alpaca farm's attempt to like be a place for people with trauma to decompress and stuff is like creating a situation where vulnerable people can be taken advantage of. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I agree that we should do those things really carefully. So I'm just a little bit like suspicious of, communes and stuff are just like a couple weird dynamics away from being a cult, and like, vulnerable people can be like subject to that, But I saw that's another thing that I figured we could watch. Okay. We'll see if the camera will live through the stream. I can always just go audio only and just chit chat. Okay, where's my chat? There it is. What's up, drums? Tech Gremlin strikes again. Yeah, somebody tried to say that this was an overheating problem. And it's like, well, the camera has only been on for like 10 minutes, so I don't really understand how it could be an overheating problem. Yeah, but a commune could also be a chill place with orgies all the time. Yeah, it could be a chill place with orgies all the time. Okay, I posted in that channel asking if I can DM you a few weeks back because my recommendation is currently private. I just don't like DMs, you guys. Like, I don't really know what sensitive idea that you have that requires you having direct contact with me in private, but like, and it's not just you guys. I just don't like DMs in general. Autumn makes me want to eat some baked goods with some milk. I love baked goods. I actually had when we went to we went to get pumpkins, we got some pumpkin donuts. Those were okay. They were pretty small. And they were like individually wrapped. So, didn't a commune with lots of orgies all the time lead indirectly to the assassination of a president? I think I watched a Sam O'Nella episode on that once. I've never heard that before. That's new for me. I am the undefeated arm wrestling champion with both arms in my friend group. Very nice. That's what working out will get you. You'll be the strongest in your friend group. It's legal court sensitive. It includes the guy that got Musk to make cis a slur. I mean, you should be able to DM me. I will probably read it. I don't know if I'll respond, but like if we share a Discord server, you should be physically capable of sending me a direct message on Discord. It doesn't work if all of your friends also work out. True. Krispy Kreme released pumpkin donuts in my area. Ooh. I like pumpkin donuts because they tend to be they tend to be really dense, It's kind of the reason why I like cake donuts in general. And I guess like pumpkin donuts are generally, it's like a pumpkin cake donut, right? Because they're not really like light and airy. They're really dense and like heavy. But they're yummy. To be fair, the reason why it happened is because he was sexually frustrated about, despite being in a free love commune, he did not get laid. No! Who was that? Which assassination was that? I want pumpkin donuts with a hot pumpkin spice coffee. Ooh, that does sound delicious. There is a coffee emote, right? There has to be one. I feel like there is. What is it called? It's just called coffee. I will say cheers to that and drink a warm drink in response. Am I the only one who thinks pumpkin flavored lattes and foods is worth the hype? I don't know that I think, like, a pumpkin spice latte is gross. Not because of the pumpkin spice, but because they're way too, like, sweet. I don't know, maybe I would enjoy a pumpkin iced coffee of some kind better. That could be more desirable. But I definitely like pumpkin foods. They're delicious. Starbucks vibes intensify. What? No. Also, apparently, it was less of a commune and more of a religious cult. That's what I'm saying, is like, I feel that, you know, trying to form communal areas, like to form a commune in that sense, like, it's just, you got to be careful about, like, who's in charge and who's coming in and who's vulnerable and, like, the power dynamics of it all. Someone owns the land, ultimately, right? You know, like, hey, hit the like button so that we can get to, like, I don't know, 30 likes? We can hit 30 likes. So it's, like, yeah, so for example, at the alpaca thing, like, somebody owns the land, right? At the end of the day, a vulnerable person who's there is still subject to the power dynamic of knowing that someone is in charge of whether they get to be there anymore. Like, the person who owns the land can be like, get out of here, you know? In the Netherlands, we only really know the pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. Yeah, fair enough. Okay. Uncomfortable. Thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. Doing my part in the Mayo side battle. We appreciate you, trooper. Hell yeah. $10 equals 10 push-ups. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, for the commune to survive, you will still have to integrate yourself into the capitalist world order. Yeah, like, you know, you're trying to create this community that exists independently, but it is still subject to those same influences where you have to, you know, pay the water bill, pay for the propane that you're using to heat, or maybe even you're using to cook. And, like, you know, someone's gonna have to maintain the, oh my god, what am I trying to say? The solar panels. Like, somebody's gonna have to maintain the solar system thing if you aren't getting your electrical off the grid. You can't be making me want baked goods at midnight. I'm so sorry, Jihario. We don't normally start the food talk this early in the stream. I remember when the PSL first came out, it was so much less sweet back then. Now it's disgusting. Are you sure it's not that you just gotten older, Varnish Eater? Because you do tend to, like, want sweet things less the older you get. This is why communes barely appeal to me. Being borderline, I feel it's so much more likely to get involved in the wrong commune group where there is some narcopath in charge. Yeah, exactly. I feel like if you want to be in a commune, you should try roommates first, just to, like, get a feel. Yeah, I feel like, you know, that's fair. I have enough land to have a commune, however, I confess that I am personally a hermit. Right. Like, who wants to be in charge of the commune? And what is it about people who want to be in charge that makes them so bad at it? Roommates but pool your earnings. Is that how, I have one roommate I really like and one roommate who has massive fucking boundary issues, and at this point I kind of hate him. Right. Yes, how does the commune pay for things? Are we growing all of our own food? Like, it's actually kind of difficult to do subsistence farming. Is someone there, like, a trauma-informed therapist? Because, like, if you're trying to invite trans people who have trauma to have a place to heal, you know, you need someone who's trauma-informed. I could not be in a commune with people such as my second roommate, and you cannot choose the people you're in a commune with. Right. Delicious. I feel like a realistic thing I would do is start a co-op where me and some friends buy a small apartment building or something together, and we all own equal shares in the property and maintain it together. We would probably still have our own jobs and stuff and not live off the land and all that, but maybe a little garden for all of us could be cool. Yeah, I feel like that's reasonable. Like owning an apartment building collectively and like being responsible for the maintenance together. Oh yeah, to clarify, this is the roommate who steals my bar of soap. No. The gross kind of boundary issues. Our model with Rainbow Passage is to have a campus eventually that is communal living, but it'll be owned by the nonprofit. The idea is we want to be able to basically have a health and wellness campus dedicated to the recovery of lives for queer people. There's obviously much more to it, but we already have a pretty solid plan for when we hit the funding goals. Yeah, you just have to like have professionals involved, you know? Like you have to have professionals who know how to like help people reintegrate after exiting like traumatic situations. Yeah, it's a very big responsibility to start. Like, I mean, basically what you're talking about is having a rehabilitation center. Also, a bunch of unsolicited advice from this roommate, looking at my computer and phone screen over my shoulder and making rude comments about my makeup and clothes and stuff. Ooh, yeah, that's pretty obnoxious. Roommate, why is my soap shaped exactly like the inside of your butt? No. Oh, God. Are communes specifically families? No, I don't think so. Like, the idea of a commune is that, like, unrelated people choose to form a community. And, like, you can have families within that context. But it generally... I don't think it generally is assumed to be that. But IDK, my BFF Jill. I confess I do know a few women who I could tolerate stealing my soap. Yeah, but this does not seem like that kind of situation, unfortunately. Oh, jeez. Keep it cozy, guys. Drink your decaf, drink your tea, whatever it is you got. Good grief. I'll go make some cocoa. Ooh, cocoa is so delicious. I have some cocoa that has peppermint shards in it. It's delicious. Yeah, clearly the solution to this roommate problem is to put one giant block of soap in the bathroom and then everybody will rub against it like cats on a scratch post. It's like one of those scratchy things that they put in with cows and goats so they can like rub their faces against it and like rub their butts against it and just get the scritches going. That's what the communal soap is like. You go over there and you just rub your ass directly on it. Mm-hmm. Absolument. I see no problems with this whatsoever. Did I tell you guys that I'm in the process of trying to make like 45 tiny crochet mushrooms? I might need to just dedicate like 2 solid days this week to doing that. Oh, man. I like my trans roommate a lot. She minds her business. That certainly makes someone a lot more desirable to be around. I sprinkle some soap in my morning coffee to stay clean on the inside. Mm-hmm. Stay clean on the inside. Drink bleach. Don't drink bleach. If you're just coming in, we're gonna start doing our React content momentarily. Hit like if you want to stay. Hit like if you are about to leave. Either way, it's fine. Yeah, drinking some bleach to disinfect my evil. You could have a little bleach as a treat. No bleach. Don't do it. It's bad for you. Wash your mouth out with soap, and then you will get a minute amount into your bloodstream through absorbing it through your gums, and that's enough soap to clean your insides. Bleach drinking is for COVID, remember? Yes, exactly. Oh, man. Ugh. I've never had my mouth washed out with soap. What's it like? I have never had that either, I don't think. My mom definitely threatened to do that to me, but I don't think she ever actually put soap in my mouth. I can't recall ever having had that myself. Soap tastes salty and bitter. I had it once and I hated it. I mean, I don't imagine it's good. I got it frequently. It tastes terrible. Dial was the worst. I mean, they don't want you to eat it. So obviously you end up, like... It's not very yummers. Yeah, they don't make it yummers. They don't want you to eat it. I like how Mersh and Donawu they both corroborate that Dial soap is the worst to have your mouth washed out with. The Lifebuoy soap in Christmas Story always looked so tasty to me, not gonna lie, because it was red, so I was like, ooh, is it cherry flavored? Delicious. Dial soap is so bitter. I got all the corporal punishment as a kid, which sucked because it basically means I was abused for autistic behavior that I couldn't help. Yeah, I've talked about that on stream before. I haven't gone in depth about it, but yes, it was a similar thing where it's like the way in which I didn't understand what my mom was asking for, or like the manner in which I was asking for clarification from her. It's like, yeah, I was definitely just a little autistic kid and was being punished for it. So that definitely made things more interesting in trauma therapy. I had my mouth cleaned out at school with Dial by my 2nd grade teacher. Man, teachers used to just do all kinds of crazy out-of-pocket shit. Being punished for daring to have opinions. True. At least you would be able to blow bubbles. If you turn it into a fun thing, though, if you were to, like, if your response to your parent washing your mouth out with soap is to play with it, they're definitely gonna beat you. Like, if they weren't already gonna spank you, then they would do it in response to you playing with the soap. Like, playing with the, like doing mouth out with soap is like the abusive parent's capitulation to not beating you. So if you take what they consider a more mild punishment and make it fun, then they'll definitely make it worse for you. I know that the camera's doing its thing. Are you gonna, can you, I don't really understand what your problem is, but, you know, I'm gonna try to listen and do my best to, you know, pay attention. I was often punished for stimming. Yeah, I stim too much to get punished for it. Don't punish me. No. Don't do it. Oh, God. Well, the result for me is that I am now masochistic and have an abuse kink as an adult, so, I mean, can't complain. I guess that's a benefit. You turned it around. You made it a positive. Yeah, true. This is the stream. Bros, we're back. It's so over. We're back. It's so over. Just back and forth. Bros. We got it. Okay? Yeah, oh my gosh. Why is the... Okay, there we go. The chats are back now. Good. Sadist is censored. Oh yeah, I don't know why that is. I don't make the decisions about any of that on the website. Just so you know. Yeah, what we're discovering is that website chat... Oh, White Nervosa just picked a list of words that YouTube would ding you for at the time. Cool. Yeah, kink-shaming censorship. This is ridiculous. Yeah, I like this mug. It's a pretty decent mug. It's all right. Yum. Okay, so, you know, we're like 30 minutes in, but I'm only going to stream for like 2 hours probably, so we should probably do some React stuff. This mug has mushroom vibes? Does it? It has mushroom vibes? I guess. It's got like some color and texture things going on here. I suppose. This is the adorable like template. This is like what they're all basically gonna look like, or what I'm gonna try to make them all look like. I'm gonna make like so many of these. I have so many of the bottoms right now. Like I have a bunch of the oh, they're over here. I have a bunch of the stem parts, the bottom parts, and I am just gonna have to, I'm not done making these either. I need to make more of these, but I wanted to try to figure out how this was gonna work with the tops, so. I'm doing so much crochet. I'm really not, actually. I'm not doing enough crochet if my plan is to get it done. I honestly, at this point, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to see all of the people who I want to give one to, and I only have one weekend left, I probably should just hold off until next year. But, I don't know. I'll probably still try. Mug rooms! I recently cleaned out my fridge from a depressive episode and learned what moldy spaghetti looks like. Nice! Yeah, I have so many bottoms. I got too many bottoms. I need more tops. Oh, gosh. I got some good medical news. Oh, cool. My gyno accepted my request to switch birth control to a type that doesn't make me want to unalive myself. They were surprisingly receptive. It literally was as simple as, can I switch to this? And they said, sure, have a nice day. That's awesome. I'm going to be trying a low estrogen form of combination birth control because I want to not have periods, hopefully. That's a thing that I would like to not have right now. So we're still trying to figure out, like, what... like, I tried to figure out a more long-term birth control, and it's like, I can't do the IUD, and, like, the arm implant thing costs more than $1,000, so it's like, yeah, I really don't want to keep taking this pill that's, like, I have to take it at the same time every day, or it's, like, suddenly I'm at risk for a dangerous pregnancy. So it's like, yeah, I would rather be on something that I don't have to worry about as much, like, maybe not a daily thing or something. So I decided, like, talk to my doctor about it, and it was like, okay, I guess I can try a low estrogen form of combination birth control, since I'm still young enough that it's, like, not as much of a blood clot risk, I guess. I would like a high estrogen form of estrogen and plan on doing DIY. Fun! Always good. I wish I could just have an all pill. The pill you just take once a day for all your needs. True. Okay. What should we watch first? How long is this Hasan and Cenk conversation? Because I watched Vash's video covering it. Oh my gosh. Okay, my phone. Doing things. Fairly long. I had a hard time getting through it. Maybe we don't have to watch the entire thing. Yeah, because this is the video from 5 days ago. Okay, so the whole video is long. Oh no, Hasan! You don't have chapters? I don't have chapters on my videos either. I can't say anything, but still, come on, dude. Or is this an off channel? I only need to watch the part where he addresses Cenk's, like, trans comments. That's the only part that I need. Hasan's editing is garbo for how big he is. Yeah, you surely can afford good editing. Oh my god. This headache is real. Man, should I just watch the Vash response? Delicious. Where is the actual... Okay. Okay, no. Okay, I found it. It's 37 minutes. Maybe it was low down on the list because I specifically told YouTube at some previous point not to recommend Hasan Abi channel to me. But now I have it. It's ready, and it's 37 minutes. So I have the Vice News thing, which is 22 minutes, and then the Hasan thing, which is 37 minutes. We love reactions to reactions around here. I know, reactception. Always reactcept. Never sleep. Always septin. I septin septin. That's not long for a debate. Yeah. I think this was probably just part of the conversation, like part of the longer conversation. Because it was not actually Hasan's channel that was the result that showed me like the 2.5 hour conversation a second ago. Yeah, the whole conversation was 3 hours. Yeah. But I found this part where it's just Hasan debates his uncle Cenk on trans issues for 37 minutes. Gorgeous. Same number of viewers as likes. High five. Cenk is also running for president. No way. Nuh-uh. But yes, what's up, kitty? Super big news. My sweetheart got a job and we are expecting a baby. Oh, hey. That's awesome. Went and got an ultrasound and heard the heartbeat for the first time. Hell yeah. Cenk said so. Dead serious. Nuh-uh. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. There's no way. There's no way Cenk is running for... Is he a U.S. citizen, even? Like in that... Like, or... Because he's, like... I thought he was born somewhere else. He's a citizen, but naturalized. So I thought that you couldn't run for president if you were a naturalized citizen. I thought you had to be born here. Because, like, Arnold... Yeah, I didn't think you could. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't come up unless he wins, and he absolutely can't. No, yeah, he absolutely can't. No, not Cenk gameplays. We're talking about the Young Turks. The old guy from the Young Turks, okay? Yeah, I don't think he could register to run legally. Crank that, Cenk. Oh, God. This is horrendous, guys. Oh, my God. I guess we can do the fun part first. We can do this first, and we'll see how long it takes us to get through it. And then, if we have time, we'll do the Vice News thing. Because I would rather do this. It's going to be more fun and funny to do this. Just watching Cenk dig himself into a further hole. And Hasan be, like, super astute and, like... Yeah, it's good stuff. Ted Cruz was born in Canada, and John McCain was born in Panama. Interesting. So, they can... I guess they can run, but, like, they can't be sworn in? Cenk is running for clout and promotion. I seriously doubt he's stupid enough to believe he would win or even do decently in the running. Hello, EB! Wave. Wave, 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 wave. Absolutely. So, I guess let's just go ahead and shift gears into this thing.
Don't pretend!
Oh my gosh, that was loud in my ear. There's a yellow named entity. It's true. There is a yellow named entity. Okay,
that I brought it up.
Okay, it's loud.
You brought it up.
It's loud.
And you made it a giant issue. And you...
Okay. Here. Let me do this. I want to change the text. And now the text will say... Come on, please. Okay, now the text will say... Hasan versus Cenk. TYT. Make it visible. There we go. Superb. Superb owl. Cenk is running, as my understanding, because he thinks if he can get enough support, it will get other people to run in the primary, such as Gavin Newsom. I.e., he's an idiot. Fair enough. Okay. Get some spaghetti. Delicious. Crazy how Cenk will talk about trans people with another cis person, but never a trans person. That's, you know, it's totally normal and not weird at all, and I don't even know why you would bring it up. What a weird thing for you to say.
don't pretend that I brought it up. No, you brought it up, and you made it a giant issue, and you're the one hurting the progressive cause and the trans rights cause. We win on every goddamn issue on trans rights. Why are you going and dying on the hill that no one agrees with you on? You're gonna.
I just love Hasan just like, like he's so frustrated.
Ruin trans rights on other issues.
Okay.
We're going to lose because you're being so extreme. And then every ally you have, you're like, nope, I'm going to be more pure than them. So I'm going to burn their bridge down. I don't want any allies. Okay, well then don't have any allies.
Oh my God, I'm going to lose my mind. All right. Cenk Uyghur.
This is such a weird format also, is like when like Hasan and he's having someone sit like beside him. Like, it's a weird format, in my opinion, for doing interviews. But I guess that's what you do when you're a streamer.
Is here, ladies and gentlemen. It's a classic.
Benny offered to have a convo with Cenk on stream, and Cenk was like, "No, we'll only do it in private." And like over the phone, where you can't record any of it. Just gotta say, there's lots of men who do news being emotional and impulsive. Just saying.
Uncle nephew face off, as I have talked about already. For those of you who don't know, Cenk wrote a book. This is in the face. Cenk wrote a book called "Justice is Coming: How Progressives Are Going to Take Over the Country and America is Going to Love It," which is, I mean, I'm a very cynical person. I don't think, literally didn't tell me while you were announcing it, which is that you're running for president.
Oh, they're addressing this running for president
of
thing
course,
here.
I'm going to ask you why, or even how. But that's it. That's those are some of the things that we're going to be talking about. Before we get into any of that, though, let's start off with the Democrats actually doing something that is unheard of, unimaginable, which is showing backbone.
Okay, cool. Apparently, Cenk and Hasan do a yearly Thanksgiving debate, which is just perfect because Cenk has literally become the uncle who ruins Thanksgiving. No. Oh, God, he kind of is. I mean, he just kind of is. Cenk calls himself a progressive. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, like, centrists, like, when things get pulled so far to the right, you don't have to be very far left to consider yourself a progressive. This is very silly.
Smart progressives are going in the same exact direction, right?
Yeah.
So
I've been on that direction.
Yeah, so my co-host Anna's obsessed with the labor movement. Totally believes that's the answer. Nina Turner, who's another host on our network, just announced today that she set up a new group with Chris Smalls to back the labor movement and to even get funding for the labor movement whenever they go on strike, etc. And so that's what pushed FDR. That's what's going to push the next generation. Everything is trending in our direction. The only thing is we can't, snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And there's two icebergs ahead. And so I'm not Pollyannish. I see the icebergs probably better than anybody else does. And I'm really worried about it, okay? One is the progressive movement, honestly, and this is where you and I can begin to disagree, getting too radical and too away from what most Americans want. And the second iceberg.
What do you mean by?
So Cenk objects to the presence of a leftist party, I think. He's like, the progressives are becoming too radical. That's telling me that he thinks that there is, like, I know the camera's doing its thing again. He just thinks that, like, if you are any further left than he is, then that's too radical of a change or something. My prediction is that Cenk's entire argument will boil down to just let the wedge in a little. Come in. It's just a tiny wedge. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to make it too many predictions. I just want to watch it. Libby lib liberal. Oh my God, does my hair look like shit? Did I make my hair look bad? Yeah, I kind of did. I'll fix it. Don't worry.
Yeah. So look,
He's going to say because of trans rights, by the way. He's going to say because of the way that trans people advocate for our existence, that is what progressivism has become too radical is about. Or, like, allowing kids to transition. Or, like, doing the sports or whatever. Like, he's going to say one of those things is, like, outside of, like, that's what's going to lose us the election, basically, is if we advocate for these things.
Saying things like all sports leagues, including professional ones, has to allow trans women They don't have a
Yeah,
choice.
exactly.
That polls at like 2%. You say, hey, it's a moral issue. It's really important.
Do you think
the sports leagues are like the most important thing in the whole wide world?
Do you think it's actually a significant issue? Do you think that that is a significant issue or a driver of the conversation, or cynically weaponized by Republicans with like some liberals taking the bait and then having a conversation about it instead of being like, fuck off, nobody cares about this, stop talking about this immediately?
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what the right wing does. They weaponize every single issue. What I'm trying to get progressives to do is stop falling in the trap. So the minute they say it, our side comes out and goes, no, this is the most important issue. And anyone who disagrees is a Nazi. You just called 98% of the country Nazis.
Okay.
What are you doing? You're alienating voters like crazy.
Do you think that
Hasan is like, please calm down. Like, please chill out. Please. I bet Cenk pulls out birthday boy defense. Maybe. Oh, man. Yeah, I know. Principles only matter when it polls good. Yeah, because his argument is basically that, like, if we advocate for certain aspects of trans rights, like, if we point out correctly that there has not been demonstrated to be, like, a sports advantage, and we insist on erring on the side of not discriminating until there is, like, substantial evidence that there is some kind of unfairness occurring, which, like, whatever, then, you know, tall women in general shouldn't be allowed, whatever, you know, like that, you know. There's a conversation to be had if you want to increase restrictions, but those restrictions are going to naturally also rule out some cisgender women. But, like, yeah, he just doubles down and keeps saying, like, that's the extreme position, and only such and such percentage of society supports it. And it's like, okay, so Cenk is on the side of capitulating to an uneducated majority, even when they are demonstrably wrong and go against the science on it, you know?
Trans and cis that are or members of labor unions are even using this as a talking point in any meaningful capacity, or is it simply reactionary Republicans bringing this up because they tried and unsuccessfully failed to push the anti-trans button with bathroom bills?
Except for the fact that they pass all those bills, which I despise. I hate those bills.
Let me just clarify something here. In the lead up to the 2016 election, you had the North Carolina bathroom bill that was anti-trans, right? You have to have the gender assigned at birth be the bathroom that you go to.
That totally failed.
Okay,
right.
That failed. That was so objectively a failure that Donald Trump came out and said, I don't give a fuck where Caitlyn Jenner shits as long as she's shitting in Trump Tower. Right? Something along those lines.
But
I'm paraphrasing.
He tried to ban them from the military.
Hold on. Let me finish.
That was also unpopular. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me finish. Okay? Yeah, he tried to ban trans people from the military. That was also unpopular. So, what did Republican interest groups do? The family, moral family, Christianity fundamental.
This is why I consider Cenk a grifter. He cares more about optics than rights. I mean, I don't think you're wrong about that. I do think that he's saying what his whole argument is this makes leftists look bad and therefore it's going to lose us voters.
Mentalist groups. What do? They went back to the drawing board and they looked for a reasonable sidestep that would still be anti-trans, that would open the door to anti-trans conversations that they could push for that was more popular. What did they find? They found that Americans love the concept that is bullshit, meritocracy. What is the most meritocratic process in the entire country, maybe in the world? Sports. Americans love sports, and Americans believe that meritocracy is real, and it's especially real in sports. So they changed the narrative away from trans people can't pee and poo in the fucking bathrooms to trans people want to destroy sport, of legitimacy to that argument, despite what public polling says, because the reality is no one gives a fuck about it. Let me tell you something that's more important than public polling, however. Because you brought up...
So far, I don't even see where we disagree.
Okay, so you brought up legislatures, state legislatures, Republicans like passing incredibly, horrifyingly psychotic anti-trans bills.
Yeah.
Okay? And they're passing this. Yet there is no viable single-issue voter out there that is like desiring these anti-trans bills. Although, if you ask Americans directly about like, what do you think about a 14-year-old trans girl like participating in a swim meet, they might say 56% might say, fuck that, that's wrong, we shouldn't do that. But the reality is there isn't any real momentum on the ground for anti-trans shit. Okay? Voters do not give a fuck about trans people overall. The overwhelming majority of voters actually have apathy for trans people. They just don't care about it because they think that there's no trans people in their lives whatsoever. Republicans...
I mean, I don't really think he's wrong about that. Like, I think as far as polling goes, most people are fairly apathetic towards trans rights. Like, I'm waiting for Cenk to respond to this because Hasan goes on for a minute, and it's like, Hasan, manages to present this in a way that, and then Cenk just, like, doesn't understand that Hasan is trying to say, like, you, Cenk, are furthering this issue and feeding this thing that Republicans are inventing to be a problem. Like, it's not like the leftists are doubling down on the sports thing. Like, I mean, I guess we are, like, in the sense that we're saying, no, you can't chip away at our civil rights. Like, you either have to be on board or not. And we recognize that keeping your foot in the door on the sports issue is a way to limit rights in other ways, like using that as justification, you know? But, like, Cenk doesn't understand that Hasan is trying to point this out about him being part of the problem.
However, have kept on pushing the anti-trans button over and over again and made it their major fucking talking point.
That's right.
That has yielded horrifyingly bad results for them. And instead of like fucking assassinating Christopher Rufo, for example, who's one of the leading guys here at the Manhattan Institute that was like doing the CRT stuff, doing the anti-trans stuff, instead of going, dude, what the fuck are you doing? You ruined our midterm chances when Biden had a historically bad economy, when a red tsunami was supposed to happen. That was a major failure on their part, one that actually has led to Kevin McCarthy's ouster as the speaker right now, a domino effect of like the Republican Party imploding in and of itself, partially because the only thing that they have been looking for, the only thing that they have, the only tangible policy position is just increasing the dial of transphobia, but there's not enough people on the ground who are demanding it. And those who are demanding it are increasingly more psychopathic, which is pushing away normal fucking Republican voters who are just like, I just want tax cuts, man. Like, I'm racist, sure, but like, the fuck's going on? Like, I don't give a shit about this. Like, why are you talking about dismembering children's genitals all the fucking time? You sound like a psycho. They're getting outrage fatigue, and it has demonstrably been a failure. And that's part of the reason why you don't see Trump talking too much about wokeness or trans people. He like brings it up every now and then in his commentary, but it is far less than Ron DeSantis, wouldn't you say, who is an objectively less popular candidate.
Yeah. So with the exception of Trump and DeSantis thing, which we can get into, I actually agree with everything you said. So now let me give it to you from my perspective and why I'm concerned about it. So, number one, Republicans bring this up because they're fishing and fishing. All their positions are deeply unpopular. So they're fishing for one position that they could finally get.
Cenk in 1860, freeing the slaves polls bad, you idiots, true.
Some sort of popularity on, right? So they dig all the way down to trans sports at the high school level, and they get over 70% saying, okay, no meritocracy, we shouldn't do that, right? So if at that point, you and I agree, like, we fight back when they propose a bill, and we do the best we can, and we aggressively make the case that you just made, and then I make all the time on the air, right? And then we're okay with it, and everybody would agree. The country is in favor of trans rights, okay? So, but in the midst of these conversations, one of the things that happens is, okay, on air, I say, okay, you're asking, fine. I think at the high school level, trans girls should be able to participate with biological girls. Because
why do you talk about that at all beyond how?
Because it comes up. Because there's a bill. I'm fighting against the bill.
Okay, but why do you talk about it beyond it being a distraction, perfectly cooked up? Because you said you agree with me. Why do you talk about it beyond it being a fucking bill that is laughably unpopular, so unpopular that like incredible?
So like Hasan is pointing out here that it's like, why are you granting legitimacy to the idea of the bill by acting as though the idea of trans people being in sports is a worthy topic of debate, as opposed to recognizing it as like a misdirection, politically speaking. Like, and Cenk is just not gonna grasp that he is, like he's part of the distraction from the real issues problem. Like, that is what he's doing. I just wish Hasan could stay this calm while arguing with his chatters. Listen, you guys are punks, okay?
Unpopular that it didn't pass in all the red states.
Wait, what?
The trans bills that passed, not about bathrooms, but about sports and all that horse crap.
But none of those bills were passed with popular support, Cenk.
I know they're passed by Republican legislators, and the Republican legislators are appeasing their base.
Okay,
and their base is maniacal, and their base wants it.
No, they're not.
He was not listening earlier, apparently. It's like, demonstrably, the base doesn't want any of this anti-trans shit. They're not doing well in the polls and in the elections and stuff. Like, when they're gunning for this shit, like, they're not doing well. And so Cenk is just not understanding this at all, I don't think.
That you and I are entirely incorrect.
So they go fishing in that area. And in that conversation, I say, hold on, let me finish. Okay. I say, at some point, look, my real opinion is, at the professional level, yes, of course the leagues get to make their own decision. And sometimes, yes, trans women have an advantage, and the league is allowed to say, no, we're not going to allow it. Okay.
So he's just not educated.
Okay? So what happens next? Every single person that I know in mainstream media saw that what they perceive as a progressive community then called me a Nazi. Then they go, okay, progressives are lunatics. I'm writing all of them off, right? Are you kidding me? Because somebody's had like this microscopic difference of opinion with like the most radical end of the progressive base. They're right-wing pivot, Republican, Nazi. Well, okay, you guys sound nuts. Okay, and don't do that.
You think
Just
that,
say,
you think
hey,
that's
I,
what it
agree, I
took?
disagree. So what?
Mainstream media literally called you a bestiality-loving horsefucker when you tried to run for office in California. You think they needed the fucking? You think they needed like 11 trans people with anime avatars on Twitter calling you a Nazi to be like
on a platter.
That's crazy.
And
they
then
have
there
material
are real
interests.
issues that are much larger.
They have
that
material.
also cost us, and it makes it look like we are extreme. When in reality, 2/3 of the country's on our side. Take the fucking win. Take the win. So here's another one, and this one I don't know how you're going to light up on this one.
No, this is
Defund the
important.
police. It's
This
a
is-
terrible slogan.
Okay.
A terrible idea.
He's just like about to go completely off on a different subject.
We're moving away from other talking points. Let's get back to the one issue that we were talking about. My perspective is that they have every interest to fuck you every single time. Mainstream media.
Cenk while literally screaming, "You're too extreme." True. Yeah, some cis women have advantages producing extra T. They should be allowed clearly, so trans women should be too, period. Well, I mean, apparently it's not so cut and dry, clear, uncomfortable for cisgender women to be allowed to participate if they have high natural testosterone. Like, there's been several instances where black women who are, like, scrutinized and found to have chromosomal anomalies and slightly high testosterone are like being told that they can't compete unless they take testosterone suppressing drugs, which is like not okay. But so I'm just saying, like, yes, some cis women have advantages in sports, and they are also being limited by this like weird racist / transphobic policing, you know?
Because of their underlying material interest in defending the corporate oligopoly structure that we have. This is who
Later,
funds them.
Baphomet.
This is how people rise into positions of power in the media infrastructure. You've been a part of this already. Personally, you've seen it happen to you at MSNBC. So, like, there is no reason why they're not looking at like magical trans people on Twitter and going, "Oh, that's it. Here's the reality. They're being crazy again. They're calling Cenk a Nazi."
Yes, they are. And they're looking for any excuse. I agree with that. But then stop giving them excuses, which is the point you started with.
Okay. there's a major disagreement here. We are at odds,
but we're not at odds. You say don't talk about it. I say don't talk about it. We say you say you're against the bill. I say I'm against the bill. You're for trans rights. I'm for trans rights. But my point is
but the difference is the same people that call you transphobic also called me transphobic all the fucking time. The difference is I don't change my perspective at the end of the day, or even offer it any fucking additional light, because who fucking cares? You just do what you think is right and you keep pushing. And I think that it's very dangerous and very scary when you get moved by your base of support that you have worked tirelessly for 20 years and like building and solidifying, turning on you and saying you're right wing now. I think that didn't
happen though. Like, I agree with you. It's 11 people on Twitter, so our audience is just as gigantic as it's always been. So you can go ahead and cry about it if you're among those 11 people.
Man, Cenk is such a dick about this whole thing. Yeah, still Cenk is not getting the, like, this is the point where the conversation is not even about the merits of the discussion anymore. Like, we're not even discussing at this point the merits of any of Cenk's comments. We kind of started on the merits, and now we're going to switch to a totally different part of the conversation where Hasan is just going to be like, you need to stop addressing these controversies. Like, when you say something that people think is transphobic and then they call you transphobic, you can't then comment on that, because that's not the thing that we should be doing, you know? He was always very workerist in his positions. Cenk? Yeah. Workerist. He doesn't care about the working class. I think that's what he's saying. I think that's what Alex Amethyst is saying, is that like classist against the working class is what workerist is, I think, trying to accomplish. Like, you know, ist against workers. Anyway.
So I'm not worried about that. Haas, I gave it as a small example, and defund the police is a much larger example.
Okay, we'll get to that in a second.
Progressives are getting pigeonholed by mainstream media and Republicans as radicals, when in reality, we are the overwhelming majority of the country. So we need to focus and get our messaging right.
And that's why, like, That's why looking at a couple random people and greatly emphasizing the impact that they have, and even attributing like the mainstream media's perspective shift on progressives, when you and I both know that they never fucking gave a shit, and they don't even need like a couple of random trans people to call you a transphobe to like justify their hatred for progressives.
Okay, let's go to a larger
There's no
issue.
reason to talk about that. Now, as far as like there was one other point that I wanted to make, because we were talking about state legislatures. This is really important, please. I think that a broader Republican project, and I think you'll agree with me on this, has been that they want to dismantle the power of the legislative body and then utilize the state legislatures where they know they have control due to gerrymandering.
Oh yeah, this is a really good point.
And ridiculous district maps where they can, even if they don't have popular support, even if they lose the majority of the votes, still maintain a majority in the House and the Senate, right? State House and state Senate.
It's one of the most important things in the country.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then there's a secondary side to this, though, because there is the judiciary. So they've also they've dismantled the legislative body.
Workerism is reducing everything to class and labor struggle mixed with an ethic of hard labor. Labor-phobic. Poor judist. Oh, no.
They have pushed their power in undemocratic ways through the state legislatures, and then also solidified that power and codified it by court packing, right? So they have this very open project within the Federalist Society, all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States, where they have hyper-reactionary judges that they've placed in positions of power through appointments, right? So when you do that, there is no need for a democratic process, which is precisely the reason why saying that these Republicans are actually acting out the desires of their psychotic, bloodthirsty base when they're pushing for, trans bills that are getting passed in every single state legislature is objectively false. Why is it objectively false? Because one, Republicans have never cared about their base. Let's be fucking real. They just use the culture war issues as a way to like draw up support. But in reality, they don't really give a shit about what the base wants. If they did, then they would have never in a million years allowed the Roe v. Wade decision to be overturned, because that was a much better way to just keep dangling in front of the most active base of support they have, white evangelical Protestants, and never actually push to actively dismantle Roe v. Wade and completely criminalize abortion in red states. That's why they have a major fuck up right now, because they're suffering from their own success. So I don't think that pointing to state legislatures and bills that they've passed to say, no, there is actually a decent amount of support for anti-trans legislation from the Republican base of support is correct, especially when all signs point to the opposite. At the national party level, the Republican Party is currently going through a crisis, an identity crisis. They have capitulated to incredibly bloodthirsty, psychotic fucking culture warriors for so long that they end up leading like Ron DeSantis, pushing for objectively unpopular bills, okay, by utilizing the state legislatures, and then suffering the consequences on the perception in the national party.
Yeah. So look.
Yeah, because like Ron DeSantis is not actually doing that well, and I don't know. It's like, it seems as though the rabid transphobia is part of the appeal of people for him, but like also he just can't have a normal face. Like his face is just completely. He can't control his facial expressions, so he's not very likable. He's just got no riz.
A lot I agree with, but let's break it down one by one. So it can be both, Haas. It can be that, yeah, they've done the gerrymandering. Gerrymandering has done most of the work for them, and it made their seats pretty much impenetrable. So if the Republican legislators do something, it doesn't necessarily mean that the voters of that state want it, for sure, right? But it can be that also the vicious end of the Republican base does want it, and the polling indicates that they do want it, right? And so, but the larger point
that's
here
false.
is,
I don't agree.
No,
I don't think they're. I don't think they're.
Hold on. Let me be clear.
Have you done a segment on DeSantis's heels? No, I have not. I should do that, right?
Because it depends. If you say, do you hate trans people? The answer is no in the polling for American people. They are in favor of trans rights. They're in favor of treating trans people in the same exact way about employment, health care, et cetera, which is wonderful. And again, 2/3 of the country is progressive. Okay. So when you go to ask them about bathrooms, no. When you ask them about the military, no. These people are willing to give their lives for this country, and you don't want them. What kind of a monster are you? So the American people are on our side on all those things. That's why they had to go digging for this stupid high school sports thing, right? And on that, I've seen the polling, and it's over 70% of Americans are on the side of banning them, right?
But it's not like all of these bills that are being introduced are only about sports. Like, they are still trying to push the bathroom issue. Like, he's such a weirdo. It's big hydration hours. My sinuses are dry in a bad way. Yes, it's hydration hours. Drink more water. I am drink more water. I wonder if that's where the headache is from, because I didn't drink enough water yesterday.
And now I'm on the other side. I'm with the 30%. And leave the kids alone, right? It doesn't matter if your daughter was going to break a record or whatever. Just calm down. Stop checking the genitals of kids. You're sickos. Leave them alone. Right?
I guess it's good that he's at least on that.
What they're trying to do, Hasan, this is the oldest trick in the book, and they did this back in the 1980s, is they dig until they find something unpopular, and they make Democrats or the left wing attack them on it. So, for example, flag burning. So flag burning, everybody knows it's protected by the First Amendment. They know it's protected by the First Amendment, but they want to make it seem like we hate America and we hate the American flag and we all want to burn it. So they contrive this bullshit issue. No one's burning the American flag. It's happened like twice in the last 20 years. And then the Democrats can't help but say, well, it is a First Amendment issue. You can burn the flag. And they go, aha, you unpatriotic assholes, right? So so my point is the same point you're making, which is don't fall for that trap. So just say, hey, we disagree on this. Move on.
You're saying don't fall for that trap and don't even defend it or don't even. I'm saying
defend on the bills, because when there's a bill, you have to defend.
Yeah.
But then point out super aggressively what the Republicans are doing wrong.
Chelsea Manning has a question for you. Q for Cenk. Is it possible that trans people are reacting the way we are because we hear people make these talking points, and the next thing we know, people are saying, this is why I had to become a conservative time and time again? And that right-wing slant is true for the likes of Dave Rubin and many others, even including like former TYT people. I think that's where a lot of people are defensive when they hear you talk about this, or when they hear.
I just want to ask Cenk if it was extremists or moderates that made the most historical progress for minority groups, and watch his mind melt. It's in the name, radical change. Yeah, that's the thing, is like people can acknowledge in a historical context that, radical action is what has resulted in change. But then when you actually have a situation in the modern day that would require a similar kind of action, like, what the fuck, Cenk, pushing back on the bills is what you have been bitching about? Yeah, well, yeah, because what he's saying is, like, I guess he's basically saying that we should give them the sports issue as far as in the professional leagues. Like, he's basically saying, don't argue that it's discriminatory to prevent trans people from participating at the professional level. Yeah. Moderates just work with the spectacle and do recuperation. True.
People fall into the trap of, like, jumping on every single non-issue that ultimately turns into discourse, like bonus holes or whatever the fuck, like some psychotic weirdo British person came up with at the fucking Daily Mail, right? If you are even pushing that discourse as though this is like real and applied and genuinely a threat to democracy because it's something that everyone is like forcing you at gunpoint to utilize, then all of a sudden you are a culture warrior, whether you admit it or not, because these issues are distractions and they're stupid as fuck, and that nobody should even talk about it, let alone amplify it. I'll take it one step further, though. There is one other issue here, and that is the Democratic Party. What do reactionaries do? They have no agenda, right? They have no agenda. They react, and they try to claw back civil liberties. That's their goal. And if the Democratic Party is not actually pushing, okay, if the Democratic Party is not actually pushing material realities to change in a positive way,
yeah, throwing shade at Anna there,
something to the Republicans to react to, right, to fight against, then all of a sudden, that the reactionaries are leading the discourse.
Yeah.
And that is the problem.
Yeah, she was yelling about bonus holes. Yeah. Man, and it's funny because, like, I'm pretty sure that in porn, like, the term bonus hole boys is very old. Like, I don't think that's a new one by far.
This is why whenever issues like this come up, because, listen, I have a very dynamic stream. People come in here all the time. They say a million different things, and they want me to address it or they want me to talk about it. I am very terse, very strict about, like, whenever someone comes in and they're like, address what Anna said or address what Cenk said, I'm like, no, fuck off. I don't care. Shut the fuck up. We're talking about real issues. Okay? So,
but by the way, that's almost exactly what we said, and everybody called us Nazis. So not everybody, those folks. So look, guys, first of all, let's just be clear on everything, okay? So number one,
he just lets Cenk lie a lot is something that I find frustrating about this conversation.
Fight for trans rights. I have for 21 years when no one else was. So if you don't like it and you don't believe it, that's up to you. You can do whatever the hell you want, okay? So, and I just told you all my positions, which are actually 99% identical to the most extreme trans right activists, right? So we have a microscopic difference. So somebody asked me about it, I say it once, I'm done with it. And then a giant pylon starts because people want clout. They're like, oh, no, he's not as good as me. He's not as pure as me. He's a right-winger. He's a Nazi. Okay,
Yep.
So I'm like, I ignore it. And then they just keep going, and I don't give a shit. They could do whatever they want, but then don't pretend that I brought it up. No, you brought it up, and you made it a giant issue, and you're the one hurting the progressive cause and the trans rights cause. We win on every goddamn issue on trans rights. Why are you going and dying on the hill that no one agrees with you on? You're going to ruin trans rights on other issues.
Okay.
We're going to lose because you're being so extreme. And then every ally you have, you're like, nope, I'm going to be more pure than them, so I'm going to burn their bridge down. I don't want any allies. Okay, well then don't have any allies.
Okay, if both of our goals are aligned and we are interested in coalition building and actually fighting for justice, okay, there's two different things to do here. One is try to engage in purges and try to say this purity spiral is self-defeating, which I agree with you on.
100%.
Or the other thing is to just stay the course and just let people chirp into the void and never give them an ounce of pushback, because why? Every single if people are looking for class, if
come
people are
on,
looking
get
for
outta
okay,
here.
no, that's not a get out of here
So here,
situation.
I'll tell you
This
exactly
is very
what
important
happens.
because
No, this is really important because you know why? So Haas, so every time we say any little thing, all the other streamers and stuff, these come in and go, oh, we're better than the Young Turks. We're better than the Young Turks. We agree with you 200%.
I just love how animated he is. Like, honestly, the way in which he portrays the people that he disagrees with, like, it's just so interesting seeing that over time as you start to like recognize these things, like paying attention to the way in which someone characterizes someone that they disagree with, like tells you so much about what's going on in their head. Like it's clear that he is not taking any of the criticism seriously because he's imagining it as this really stupid, overblown caricature that he is portraying himself here. Like, and it's you know, it can be, I guess, a little bit frustrating if you're like, you're not even engaging with the ideas. Like, you've just decided that the ideas are not worth engaging with, essentially. Cenk wants so badly to say, shut the fuck up, you stupid trannies. Nobody wants you in sports. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that he necessarily wants to be that shitty about it. I mean, I feel like he's as shitty about it as he wants to be already. Also, this is ignoring the people who reached out to Cenk and Anna trying to educate them calmly. Yeah, as in people that they actually knew who were trying to call them in about it. He's holding back? Oh, I don't know. Excuse me, dude went rambling on his show about it for several giant rants calling activists idiots. Yeah, excuse me.
Monsters, and they clutch their pearls and stuff, and etc. And then we go, okay, guys, but hold on, we said a tiny thing. You guys had this nuclear reaction. Okay, say another tiny thing and defend our position for like 3 minutes on air, right? And then another round of nukes, right? We're better than the Young Turks. We're the most pure. We're the most progressive. Radical, radical, radical. We have to be the most radical. And if you don't believe us,
yeah, it turns out that you can just ignore everything someone says if you portray them as being like unreasonable. Like, can you turn on the CC for the video you're watching? I don't know if the CC is any good, but we'll try it. Yeah, like if you've already decided that this position is irrational and like you are caricaturing them this way, it's like, yeah, you are putting yourself in a position where you aren't physically capable of actually responding to any of the ideas. And like, yeah, it's acting as though, oh, everyone's responding this way, and ignoring that there are people who did privately reach out. Even other cis people privately reached out and were like, hey, like when Vosh DM'd Anna and was like, hey, can we talk about this privately or whatever? Or maybe he just replied to her on Twitter. I would love to see one example of this behavior that Cenk is strawmanning here. Right. Emma Vageland from Majority Report tried, Mike from Humanist Report, Lance from the Serfs, and Benny Carollo all worked with TYT and all tried to reach out in good faith, and they were blown off by Cenk and Anna. Right, and I think that Cenk actually name drops Benny and talks shit on them briefly during this conversation, but I'm not sure. I can't remember.
Then you're a Nazi. Well, and then I made it an issue. I talked about it for about a total of maybe 3 minutes in all the Young Turks, okay? And then everyone else talked about it for 200 hours and pretended that it was us.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's the thing that there's two different parts here. One, you've immediately ascribed to bad faith arguments to these people. You're like saying they're cloud operated.
Do.
Okay, so one, that
he just said yes, I ascribe bad faith arguments to these people, and then he was like, I'm okay with that, basically. Like Hasan was like, you have just assigned a bunch of arguments to these people, you've just said that they're doing a bunch of bad faith shit, and Cenk was like, yes, I do that.
Be the case. There might be genuine disagreements. That's number one. But at which point you think, well, you know better than them, right?
No, they could disagree.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
give a shit
okay.
about
But
their
listen. But like, okay,
Yeah, he literally just also said, Hasan is like, you think you know better than them if they disagree with you. And Cenk was like, yeah, I don't give a shit what they say.
Okay,
even
but
if they are
disagree
bad
with me,
faith,
I'm going to call them Nazis.
okay, even if they are bad faith, right?
Okay.
Even if they're bad faith, then what the fuck are you doing giving them more clout?
I don't.
No,
I don't say
no,
anything.
no.
And then they do 200 shows
No, it
about
doesn't matter.
and then pretend I'm the one saying it.
It doesn't
so
matter.
hey, can we agree that all the others, like Lance or whatever the fuck their names are?
No.
Oh, yeah, he name dropped Lance.
They should all shut the fuck up then, okay? Right?
Dude,
Because that's what you're saying.
dude.
Why are you making a big issue out of it?
Because
I only said it for 1 minute. They said it for 200 minutes. Why don't they shut the fuck up?
I feel like Hasan is gonna pop a Tylenol afterwards because I can tell Cenk is giving him a headache.
oh my god, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I don't even understand what we're disagreeing about. So we agree 99% on the issue, and we agree
I think the major
99% that it's not a major issue, and people are making a big deal out of it.
I think the anger that people feel towards that sort of thing inevitably derives from offering any fucking light to that conversation, especially when you understand that it is just like bullshit talking points that have been focus tested and being brought up. The moment that you give it any validity, okay, and now I'm not even talking about like
Let's talk about a general thing.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm not even talking about like talking to other leftist people or like defending your position.
Cenk sounds like a 6-year-old that does not want to go for a nap. True.
Or whatever. I'm talking about how deeply and undesirably unproductive it is to offer any amount of consideration to literally talking points that are cooked up in a fucking laboratory about 0.1% of the fucking population.
As they do 200 shows back to back.
There are a million streamers.
Are you telling them?
There are a million streamers that have not only said things about you, but have said things about me as well. There's a difference between you and I, though, because no matter what happens, when people do write those things or people do say those things about me, I've learned the hard way not to give it any credence whatsoever and stay the fucking course. And ultimately, if people have made up their minds that I am a transphobic person,
I think this is pretty much good advice. Because, like, I've had people, say, like, oh, like, Lux is racist or whatever. And it's like, I'm not gonna... Like, maybe for fun, I'll talk about the Twitter drama on stream. But I'm not, like, this is how I'm going to be accountable. Like... for this thing that I said on Twitter that is very clearly not racist and it's just being twisted, like Hasan is giving good advice, but he definitely does not follow this. I guess he's trying to do it less. I don't know. In the Netherlands, we have the opposite, but also ridiculous problem as the US does. We have 29 parties. Oh no.
then that's, GG's. There's nothing I can do about that. If people think that I'm bad on racial issues or if I'm a misogynistic person, then there's nothing that I can change about their perspective. They are entirely too malleable, which is why I have assumed positions on so many things that the American population considers radical, whether it be foreign policy and what I believe in, or whether it be trans issues, even if it's something that Americans across the board consider to be like unpopular. The reason why I can stay the course in spite of that pushback is because I fucking ignore it, because I know that it is unproductive. That's it.
Yeah.
And the second thing I will say, and this is something that I try to talk to my audience about quite frequently, is that being a progressive is not about having black people or trans people hype you up all the fucking time. There are going to be plenty of moments where you are going to be at odds with activists. There's going to be plenty of moments where you have disagreements with the marginalized communities that you claim to speak on behalf of, okay? And ultimately, it's not even about a logical conclusion to those problems. It's about being empathetic, right? That's at the heart of the matter.
So let's
being
let's
empathetic.
do a super important distinction, okay? Because and I don't think I made a good enough
I love that this is about to be an argument against the empathy point.
case for this distinction, and I want to be way clear. There's a difference between randos in the world that care about this issue, whether they agree with me or disagree with me, or they heard the wrong thing about me,
By the way,
or they have heard the right thing and they still think this guy's a Republican and I hate him. No problem.
He
okay?
cares about his reputation a lot. He's so worried about the fact that people are calling him like a Nazi sympathizer or like a useful idiot to Nazi rhetoric.
And media figures, streamers, etc. Those guys are largely scorpions. And it's because the incentives and disincentives create scorpions. Because when you attack someone else, you get into the algorithm loop on YouTube, mainly YouTube, but in some other places as well, and you try to get attention. So they don't even know, I hope they don't know, a lot of them, that they're doing it on purpose. I hope they're not doing it on purpose, but probably some of them are, right? But they think like, no, this is really important. I have to correct the record by attacking the Young Turks. Oh, look at that, my views went up. What a wonderful coincidence. I'm going to do it again and again and again. And this is not just about
I mean, you said some out-of-pocket shit, and it was like, it was a popular topic of discussion. So, like, yeah, if there is, like, a thing happening, if you're a content creator, the thing to do is to try to get the content out relevant to that topic, like, quickly, so that you can be relevant to the discussion at hand. Like, that is how it works, yes. So, stop saying things that piss everybody off, I guess, is the solution to that problem.
radical left. Are you crazy? No way. The right wing started this. Why did Steven Crowder dress up as me?
Yeah,
right?
I was about to say, listen,
right?
Listen, but you're
so why did Jimmy Dore attack me like a nut job? Why did Sargon of Akkad go back like 15
partially
years?
Partially
why
because
did Sam Harris? Why did all of them attack us?
Partially because you
YouTube,
respond.
we're the largest.
Partially because you respond. It's called getting farmed. Trust me, I know from personal experience what that's like.
He just told Cenk that he has been suckered into being farmed numerous times. When people criticize me, that's all for clout. When I yell at trans people and call them idiots, I'm just a special birthday boy.
For a very long time, I got farmed like a motherfucker, okay? Because, just like you, perhaps because I am also as stubborn as you are, I couldn't shut the fuck up anytime there was, like, any error, okay? Whenever someone said, this is what Hasan believes or whatever the fuck, I immediately rushed to correct the record, thinking
and that is frustrating. Like, you do, when people are spreading misinformation about you or, like, representing your opinion in a way that is not accurate, you do feel, like, a deep urge to correct the record. And this is something that I struggle with a lot. Because like, being misunderstood was, like, a thing that I would get physically abused for as a child. Like, if I was not being understood to like, this is the thing that I'm thinking, but my mom thinks that I'm being, like, insubordinate instead of asking questions out of genuine curiosity or whatever. So, like, I have, like, developed this need to correct the record, to explain myself, to make sure, like, if someone is mischaracterizing me, that I correct the record. If someone assumes something about my mental state or my perspective, or if I feel that they misrepresent my words or my behavior or whatever, like, I feel like this really intense urge to correct the record, which I try not to do in the content space. Like, I try not to get sucked into that in the content space, but I completely understand where that comes from. And, like, Hasan is like, yeah, I've done the same thing. Cenk obviously is very concerned with whether people think, how people think of him. Yeah, exactly. The neurodivergent childhood asks a question about a rule. Parent, why are you arguing with me? Indeed.
That there was good faith discussion to be had. Now, out of the people that are actually criticizing you, there are people who I do like, who I do appreciate. I'm not going to get into that part of the conversation because I feel like that's going to blow a lid in this. It's going to make you blow a gasket. But the reality is that ultimately, if you want to have a productive, if you want to have a productive and successful coalition, you just can't stress that shit out, okay? You can't.
No, I'm good with
even
it.
Even if
Look,
they say,
I'm super clear. You like what we're saying, you come to the Young Turks. If you don't like it and you want super radical weirdos, there's like a million shows for you.
That's what you're doing. Like, you're casting everyone else in a bad light. Don't even talk about it. Don't even bring it up. That's it.
Okay, so I know I've been punched in the face 200 times, and I'm not allowed to punch back.
Exactly, 100%. That's what I'm saying. Yes, you get it. That is what I'm saying. That's what being fucking progressive is. Okay?
No.
If someone on your side is punching you, you ultimately turn around and say, I don't give a fuck. It's fine, because the real motherfucker whose face I have to punch is out there that actually holds on to all levers of power. Because while we're fucking arguing about the minutia of your perspective on trans issues, or whenever, like, you choose to engage in, like, any kind of reactionary framing of an issue, there are actual fucking people out there who are making everyone's lives actively worse. So why the fuck would I ever care about what some dumbass fucking YouTuber has to say when Ben Shapiro is, again, stealing our fucking lunch money and doing whatever the fuck is necessary to keep propagandizing every fucking awful position that makes people's lives worse. Right. That's why I fucking cover Ben Shapiro every day, by the way, you dumb cocksuckers in here who fucking think, like, oh, why does Hasan talk about Ben Shapiro all the time? That's why. Because he's the fucking bad guy. You will never see me fucking agree with Ben Shapiro or Steven Crowder or any of those fucking bullshit charlatans out there, because those are the fucking bad guys. I don't give a fuck if people call me transphobic or racist or whatever the fuck. I'm not gonna stray away from my point of view, but more importantly, and I don't think you do either, but there's this one issue that you and I have. There's one disagreement. There's one difference that you and I have. You spend entirely too much time thinking about all the people on your side who fucking hate you, okay? Who say you're bad and wrong, even if it's a misunderstanding. Don't even fucking clear it up. It doesn't matter. People will see where you are genuinely coming from when you keep saying the same shit that you're saying that you've said for 20 fucking years.
This is really good
advice.
advice.
That's it, okay? A lot of people yelled at me during the fucking Hogwarts drama. There were every trans content creator on Twitter yelled at me, okay, and said, you're a piece of shit, you're transphobic, oh, what, you can't play one fucking game that's transphobic? It was an idiotic fucking take from the jump. I said it a month in advance that this is entirely too popular of an IP. The best thing to do is not, like, try to do boycott. Is try to boycott this fucking IP that's completely devoid of the transphobic person that is making money off of it, and instead use it to fundraise or push the issue further. Everybody yelled at me, said that was incredible.
I don't necessarily think that this is the worst argument to make. We should boycott the IP. I don't think that he's arguing that if you weren't already going to buy the game, then you should buy the game. I think he's saying, like, she's going to make a shit ton of money off the game regardless of whether you personally buy it. So you might as well, like, use that IP and use the hype off of it and use the controversy off of it to direct attention and funding toward, like, some trans positive issue, you know? Like, I don't think he's arguing that you should buy it if you weren't going to already, but that, like, trying to push a boycott was, like, not going to be effective. I appreciate Hasan trying so hard to get his uncle to shut up. I feel like he knew that he couldn't convince Cenk that he was being transphobic and instead used the convo to try to stop the harm. Yeah, Ferret Girl, I agree. It's mostly that he's going like, okay, well, even if I can't convince you on the issues, then I'm going to convince you to shut up about it because it's not that big of a... Like, if you keep doing this, then you're helping the right wing, like, do their distraction thing that they're trying to do. So, hello, Alex Amethyst. Thank you for the $5 dono. Taking off my hoodie so that I can do 10 push-ups. $10 equals 10 push-ups. We fix... Yes. Okay. I agree that people shouldn't be harassed for buying it. Yeah, that's another thing for me. Like, I don't think it was effective to, like, yell at people about it. I think, like, there is a difference between yelling at people about it and, like, calmly explaining that, like, supporting this IP is harmful because XYZ reasons. But, like, also, if you're getting that from a fucking 1,000 people, like, even if 1,000 people are calmly explaining it to you, it's gonna feel like a deluge of negativity. So, okay, push-ups. Should we let Hasan play? No, we're gonna go full screen. I forgot that I should do that. Okay, let me get my feetsies in place. Okay. Thank you, Alex Amethyst. We appreciate your contributions to the channel. I don't know why, but for some reason I feel like it's a flex to just, like, talk while I'm doing push-ups. Just seems fun to me. Yes. And what is it, like 3 more? I'm not really counting. That's the thing about talking while I'm doing push-ups, is that I'm not really counting that much. And I'm gonna assume that was 10. Yes. Okay, I'll probably keep the hoodie off because now I'm warm. Ugh. Now I have to be warm. Gosh darn it. Fact that people were giving Silvervale death threats over the game is gross. Right, yeah, I do think that was extremely disproportionate. Ferret Girl, thank you for the $5 dono. I appreciate you so very much. No commentary on these donos, though. Hell yeah. Let's fucking go. All right, okay, I'll put my other sock back on. No, I'm wearing fuzzy socks, and they just don't have very good traction. I think people should have been like, boycott the game, and here's why. Well, yeah, sure. Certainly lots of people did try to just calmly say, here's why you should boycott the game, or why you shouldn't buy it, or why playing it will indicate to your trans friends that you aren't concerned about the fact that J.K. Rowling spends her money on advocating against trans rights in a country where you basically can't get healthcare at all. Yeah, but people definitely went crazier than they should have. I won't argue on that point at all.
Incredibly transphobic. What the fuck did I do? I shut the fuck up. I said, you guys are wrong, but it doesn't matter. History will absolve me. It did. Who gives a shit? The game fucking sucked. Right-wingers like Ben Shapiro made commentary on it, saying that Hasan is terrified of trans people in his own audience, and that's why he also has to capitulate to the trans people in his own audience, when if I wanted to capitulate, I would have never said anything about Hogwarts whatsoever, and I would have just stayed the course and never played it and said, yes, it's a transphobic fucking game. But I didn't do that because I'm a stubborn piece of shit. I yelled at the people, and I moved on. Many of those people who thought I was transphobic in that fucking fervor have come to the realization that they were maybe wrong. A lot of people don't want to admit that they're wrong, especially when tensions are fucking high. It doesn't matter. They finally, quietly come to that conclusion that you were on, if they truly do believe that you are genuinely on their side. That's it. So just make your work speak for itself. You don't have to constantly fucking yell about random trans people online. And yes, that's what being the bigger progressive media person it revolves around. You have to do that. That's it.
All right, look, I'm going to take your advice. Let's move on because it's a microscopic issue.
There you go. So let's talk about defund the police now.
Okay. So,
Okay. All right. Thanks, Hasan. It's no wonder why so many trans people went ballistic about it, though. How are people supposed to not go crazy considering everything we face? It's just unfortunate and sad, and we need to organize our communities for on-the-ground change and solidarity. Yeah, it's tough. I'm feeling the strain, where it's like there's so many things going on, and it's like I'm trying to keep my nose to the grind and like make sure I'm present for the stuff that I actually have to do in my daily life. But that doesn't mean that like the existence of trans people in general and like the climate and everything is not like a pressure that you're dealing with constantly, right? Because it does end up being, it's like we're like dissociating from these bigger issues, and then the things that actually end up tripping us up and damaging our calm are stupid little things like a fucking video game or something, and that's like, it seems like, oh yeah, you're having this big disproportionate reaction about the Hogwarts game, and it's like not even about that, but people don't get that it's not even about that. Like, it's about the fact that I never see any of you cis people talking about all these laws that are passing, and now here you are playing this fucking game seemingly unaware of the fact that like all these people are like suffering and dying on wait lists in the UK where J.K. Rowling spends her money advocating against their access to healthcare, like it's a stupid thing that trips you up because you just can't even be emotionally present with the big stuff, at least not in your daily life. Like, maybe we would freak out about little things less if we let ourselves freak out about the big things more, like if you allow yourself the, like, I'm gonna fucking bawl my eyes out about, like, all the trans people I know who are fucking political refugees right now. But it's like, yeah, you also need the, like, support through those moments. Like, I don't think that, like, just freaking out about it is, like, gonna be super helpful. I don't know if any therapist would suggest that you should just let yourself freak out about stuff. But yeah, it's like, how else do you do it? Like, you gotta deal with those bigger issues, like, in some way, so that you don't end up being the person who freaks out over something relatively minor and, like, starts sending death threats and calling people transphobic and bigoted and stuff because of them playing a video game. Like, you can see all the steps in between them purchasing the video game and a transphobic result that harms people at the end of that, but they see it as, like, I just am playing a video game. So it's like, if you portray that action as transphobic, then they feel like, what the fuck are you talking about? Cenk acts like we can't and shouldn't be advocating for trans rights, and that opinion is just static. Yeah. Not to mention how hard all of us are on each other. I think we really do need to build organizations to empower trans people and also push trans issues within the labor movement and other movements, needing to be very involved in reinvigorating the feminist movement. Yeah, I will say, too, that is, if you're being held to an insanely high standard, like in all aspects of your life, like you have kids, so you have to be emotionally stable and like not freaking out for them. You have a job that you have to go to and you can't like cry at work because you have a job to do, and then like you go on Twitter and yet another one of your friends is canceled over some stupid little fucking thing that they said like 12 years ago. when they were a 13-year-old, you know? And like, you're just under this constant scrutiny and pressure, and like it makes sense why we have these big reactions again to like the Hogwarts shit. Because yeah, it's about establishing community support and like social, like emotional support networks, you know? I can't help but be reminded that Cenk co-founded Rebellion Pack with Brianna Wu. Oh my god. We should be holding each other to more generous standards. Enough with the stupid cancel culture shit. Not that we should normalize or excuse harmful behavior, but to see it in context. Yeah, it's super weird. Canada has figured out this bit. Teachers' unions were key in organizing counter-protests to that 1 million March for Children thing. Right, yeah, the teachers' union really busted it out. It was great. Good night, Alex Amethyst. Have a good one. Thank you for your dono. Appreciate you. I'm not going to be on for much longer. Trans liberation is a class issue. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Accountability does not mean being isolated from any support structures we have or being blasted on social for the whole world to pile on. Yeah, because like that, like what do you mean by accountability in this situation? Like what does that meaningfully look like? And can you be accountable to strangers on Twitter? Like I don't know that you can meaningfully be accountable to someone that you don't know. And like, why do random people feel entitled to you being accountable to their particular issue that they had with what you said? That's the parasocial thing that leaks in, is like that people feel entitled to like that they get to hold you accountable for something. And it's like, if I'm not like an elected official and like, yeah, my constituents I'm accountable to them, like as a content creator, I don't really feel that I'm accountable to my audience in that same kind of way. It's like, I don't know you. If it's like, if I wouldn't go to you for advice, why am I accepting your criticism? This is the conversation that needs to happen more. You can't be accountable to strangers, nor should you be. It's cyberbullying with the facade of social justice. Does not accomplish anything good. I agree with that. Vampiric Howl. Vampiric Howl? Vampiric Howl is probably how that's pronounced. Yeah, it's just not ideal. I find that a lot of these people who are freaking out spend too much time ruminating and online, often comes from a lack of real community and IRL isolation. People being entitled to accountability on Twitter led to me being harassed off of the platform, with people demanding I show my medical records to prove that I have DID. Yeah. The people feel so entitled to your time, to your attention. They feel entitled to, like, you listening to them. Like, they think that they have a right to be heard. And it's like, you have a right to speak, but I don't have to listen to you, and I don't have to, like, I don't know you, I don't have to care about your, like, whatever it is that you take issue with. And that's kind of like what Hasan is saying to an extent, is like, I'm just going to keep it moving. And like, the more you respond to the criticism, the more you're going to continue to be farmed for additional content. Because honestly, yeah, that is kind of what happened with Cenk and Anna, is like, they initially said their stuff about, you know, being moderately transphobic, and like, then we responded, and then they responded to that response, and it continued to escalate. And it's like, each time Anna says something stupid, and I don't even have to do anything because I'm not one of the ones, like, I guess I responded on Twitter a couple times to Anna, but I'm not one of the ones who's like, how dare you, blah, 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 you're a Nazi. Yeah, it's just like, you can continue to farm them for content because they get so ass mad, you know? Oh, but anyway. Oh, yeah, so Mama says that she put something in the stream, Rex. In the stream, Rex. Oh, yeah, I don't know that this is going to be an actual segment of any kind, but I certainly will look at some of these pictures because it is funny to me. We're not going to watch this Vice News thing right now. I think Ron DeSantis might be like a cryptid based on these images. Like, you know, you can see his little bootsies. Why are they curved up so much? You know? And people are like, why are they shaped this way? Like, it looks like he's... That's gotta be like a 5-inch heel, if that's biologically accurate. His calves have gotta be so toned. Look at those little toesies. Camera doing its thing again. And like, yeah, again, these boots have such a hard upward turn. Also, these boots are way too shiny. It's like, this is the definition of like a city boy trying to look like a country boy. Is like, you have these glossy boots that have clearly never seen a day's work. It doesn't work like that, Ron. It doesn't work like that. And then, yeah, but it just looks like he's wearing crazy high heels, and like that lower part of the foot, that lower part of the shoe just doesn't even have a foot in it. Girl, work it! Yes. So this is the new theory that's going around, is that Ron DeSantis is wearing, like, 4-inch heels inside there. He just has shorter feet. His feet are just really short, and the end of the toes is curling up because his feet are not in there. Those heels are gender-affirming care. True. Ron DeFabulous. As much as I can't work in it, it is wonderful that it is raining right now. Ooh, I think that it's supposed to rain sometime this week where I am at. I can't remember what days, though. Oh, or, I mean, maybe the forecast has changed since last week, but I was under the impression that it was supposed to rain. And I love when you get rain in autumn. Like, excuse me, rain in autumn is the thing that I want. Why doesn't he just go full pleaser heel? No need to hide his heels with lifts. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Oh yeah, so the little man's complex would explain much about this personality as well. I could see that. Like, he's a short king, but he can't embrace it. Oh my gosh. It's like, why are your boots like that? That's the thing. He's got really short feet, or he's wearing some crazy inserts. No one will ever know. No one will ever know. Ooh, well, do we have any other memes that we should check out? I know that there's some other stuff in the Stream Rex channel that I'm not really planning on getting to today. But yeah. I don't know about that. WikiFeet might be able to get to the truth. Hey, what's a really sweet kind of wine? I don't know. What's a sweet kind of wine, you guys? I always drink red wines, and I don't know that those qualify as sweet, because I also don't drink white wine. Moscato? Okay. I posted the best trans speech I ever heard in StreamRex. It's fairly short. Yes, I did see that. We can watch it. I don't really have a lot of commentary, but we can watch it. Yeah. Aaron Reed.
Sometimes whenever you cover trans bills that are moving around the country, you get to catch some of the most amazing testimony.
True.
That was certainly the case yesterday when in Wisconsin, a non-binary person by the name of Shepard held the most fast-speaking and amazing info-packed testimonies that I've ever heard. You just have to watch this.
Thank you,
Good
Aaron.
afternoon. I'll try to keep my comments brief as I believe all of our time has been wasted enough already. My name is Shepard Janeway. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I am here today alive, still transgender after puberty, still alive and incandescently happy because of access to gender-affirming care.
This is just gonna, like, blast past, by the way. This is just gonna, like, chug through. The Moscato that Vosh drink tastes identical to Martinelli's. I know because I thought Vermin poured me Martinelli's by accident at a party. Moscato is a very sweet wine. Okay. Riesling can be hella sweet too. Ice wine. Ooh, okay. Yeah, so this person is just gonna go hard. They are non-binary and apparently a BAMF.
Lack of access to gender-affirming care directly contributed to my suicidality as a minor living in the state of Wisconsin. My testimony is dedicated to my friend Mindy. The 10-year anniversary of Mindy's death by suicide will be next week. As a minor living in Wisconsin, lack of access to gender-affirming health care and hostility from those in power towards transgender youth directly contributed to Mindy's suicide. I will not be arguing much in favor of gender-affirming health care. The next few minutes of my comments will likely not sway you any more than, I don't know, explicit statements in support from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Public Health Association, the Endocrine Society, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, the Society for Adolescent Health and Medicine, the World Medical Association, and more. But I think at this point I'm really pushing the limits of our collective attention.
I love that line. I've just listed all these things, but by now I'm pushing the limits of our collective attention by droning on about it.
I'm frankly loath to even validate the evocative rhetoric that children are being bamboozled into mutilating their bodies with even a scrap of acknowledgement, but I will say this. The vast majority of sex and gender-related medical procedures which are performed on minors with insufficient education are performed on intersex infants and children to force them into physical alignment with the gender binary. We have the data on that, and this bill will not protect those children or their families from such treatment. Gender-affirming care is administered to transgender minors only under stringent observation by qualified professionals. The scientific consensus is that gender-affirming care drastically reduces suicide attempts in youth, especially when administered between the ages of 14 and 17. And once again, let's keep in mind that the standard of gender-affirming care for minors is puberty blockers, and that is it. I sincerely hope that you will not allow reactionary fear tactics to outweigh a 14% decrease in suicide attempts among a population that faces up to 40% suicide attempt rates, the highest of which occur among youth. What I am going to say is this, because I believe it is important to name the monster in the room. Gender-affirming care does not ruin the lives of children, it saves them, and the people who introduce and support this legislation know that. The movement to legislate against the inclusion of trans people and against life-saving health care for transgender children is the first step in the concerted, organized, and explicit effort to eradicate and exterminate transgender people, and it will...
Yeah, I don't really see this get called out during these testimonies very much, but this person is saying, like, yeah, they know, the people who are passing these laws know that, you know, affirming care results in a reduced amount of suicide, and, like, they are deliberately attacking trans people and trans youth with the knowledge that it will reduce the overall numbers. Yeah, calling it like it is. You don't really see it that often.
Certainly not be the last. They know that the introduction and passing of the bills like these will kill trans people, including children, and that is their goal. It is the initiation of the solution of what fascists are calling, and I kid you not, the transgender question. Let that sink in. And despite the insistence of previous speakers, we do have the receipts on that. So I will not sit here and beg you to care about your constituents. I will not sit here and beg you to believe in science. I will not even sit here and beg you to care about vulnerable people. You will believe in what is right. You will do what is right, what is just, what is supported by numerous medical, psychological, social, legal, and political organizations, or you will believe that it is better to offer the lives of children to the altar of conformity. I'm open to questions. Oh, and the very first instance of children receiving gender procedures is at infancy, and again, it is on intersex children with insufficient education to their parents.
I only allowed the applause because that was quite impressive auctioneering skills, but do any of
I hate that guy so much. Like, just going like, ooh, those were really impressive auctioneering skills. Just, again, demonstrating that you weren't actually listening. We know that you weren't actually listening. We know that you're a genocidal freak, and that, like, you don't actually care about the lives of these people that you're damaging. Yeah. Your skills as an auctioneer rattling off all those facts, apparently. It's just a way of, like, yeah, minimizing the sincerity of, like, the fact that this person talked about the suicide of their friend at the beginning of their statements, you know, like, they're just absolute fucking monsters.
members have questions for Shepard?
And there's no questions for Shepard, I don't think.
All right, with that.
So, yeah, that's the end of that. Oh, it's like I wish that I could feel good about it. But, like, yeah, I've seen people spit and fire on behalf of trans rights before, and it's like, it just doesn't do anything. So it's, like, hard for me to be like, yeah, go. This non-binary person is really sticking it to him. Like, yeah, man. We're really getting so far with with these testimonies that we've been giving across the country, you know? Oh, God. But I'm glad that at least some people are calling it like it is, because somebody has to do it. Yeah, there's all kinds of crazy shit going on right now. They don't have questions because they know that they don't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning an argument against them. Yeah, I mean, no, like, transphobic panels are never going to really answer to the trans person who's there. They're going to be like, they're going to do what they can to make you seem ridiculous, and then they're going to move on. So just making fun of the way that they were presenting and talking was like the way to undercut the sincerity and importance of what they were saying, basically. Okay. Someone send me a cute cat picture or something so that I can... I did see a cute cat recently on Blue Sky. See, let me find one of my cat pages on Blue Sky. No. I recently followed Neil Gaiman on Blue Sky, and man, he posts a lot. And replies to people a lot. Oh, here's one. There's a cutie. Oh my god, look at him. Look at his face. The internet and this world seems to be full of adorable cats. I know. My cat is too big and not malleable enough for me to pick up and show off on stream. Unfortunate. He's not... Oh, look at this kitty. Look at him. He's making sure the bed works fine, okay? He's got to make sure the bed works. Fibonacci sequence. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, da-da-dun. Skill issue? Skill issue? How could you say this to me? Can I interest you in a cout? Adorable. More golden ratios. Oh my goodness, look at this adorable little face. I want to pet the belly so bad. I want to nom the belly so bad. I love putting the golden ratio spiral on things that don't actually fit. Yes. Oh god, what cuties. This one looks like a water bear. Or a water dog? Water dog. I missed my baby when he was that small. Now he's a big boy that smothers me in the morning in order to get me to feed him. True. Oh, yeah, but they call them water dogs. The axolotl. They call them water dogs, right? Axolotls. Cat in a wine glass. We're gonna drink him up. Look at how tasty he looks. He's so sweet. That's the sweetest wine right there. Someone was asking about the sweetest wine. It's right there. The circle of life. Tell me that's not screaming Lion King to you right now. This one wants whatever you have. That's the face of a cat who wants what you have. This guy is the Punisher, apparently. Is that a Photoshop? I can't tell. It's so scrungly. I don't know. Hard to say. And finally, the cat who wants your cheese. He just wants a little bit of cheese. He just wants some cheese. He's just gonna steal an entire chunk of cheese off of your charcuterie. Water dogs are like juvenile tiger salamanders. Axolotl are neotenous and never reach a full adult state like other amphibians. Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah, because they always have their little tail. My mice do that pose as well. They can beg. Okay. Cute little cats. Oh, and yeah, that's a good one. I could just continue doing this forever. But I said that I was going to make dinner tonight, so I probably should do that at some point. Transvestigation, but it's the golden ratio on cats. No. You stop that. That's ridiculous. You just get on out of here. I can't with you. That little pink nose. I just can't. That cat does look like it's about to attack something, though. Like, it's a cute close-up, but it looks like it's about to smack something. For sure. Lux has retired from politics and become a full-time cat streamer. Oh my god, please. Let that be my life. Let my life just be that I can be a full-time cat streamer. Oh man, that's what we want to see. Whale, I'm gonna try to have the energy to stream on Thursday, which means I'm gonna try to do 2 short streams this week. So I'm gonna go ahead and probably hop off here, and I'm gonna go make dinner and go pee and stuff. So I hope that you all have a good night. Oh, I put a meme. Oh, hold on. You put a meme in the stream rec. I'll look at the stream rec meme first. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Uh-huh. Luck be in the air tonight. I do like, Wheel of Fortune. So this is a good meme. Luck be in the air tonight. Well, I guess that one wrong. Yeah. How did you manage that? Oh. I can't believe no one was like, is there an S? You know? Can we get an S, please? Alright. We will see you all on Thursday this week. And in the meantime, don't get in trouble. Don't get in trouble. Okay? Alright.